Dr. LeBlanc, let's talk about what maybe can be considered, holistic dentistry, meaning include the whole body. And one of those things is the jaw, and the jaw being out of alignment, like hinges. Me being a mechanical engineer, that's a good way for me to put them, or call them. And I've heard that those TMJ jaws are the most complicated hinges in the body and affect the whole body, and dentists are the most qualified to fix it. And yet sometimes you guys do enlist other professions also. Tell us about it. Explain that whole phenomena for us, which is apparently very life-affecting.
It certainly can be. Certainly not a week goes by, but more correctly, not a day goes by that somebody doesn't come in with a toothache, and it's very real to them. And then we do the tests that we do to make sure that the tooth or teeth are healthy. And then I'll say to them, you know what, I think, they go, well, what's wrong with my tooth, Dr. LeBlanc? And I go, well, I think you might be clenching or grinding your teeth. And they go, no, I don't clench or grind my teeth. And then I'll ask them, well, let me ask you another question then. How's the stress been lately? And their eyes pop open and a river of doom comes out of their mouth. So number one, and I think most physicians would agree that a lot of the ailments we face nowadays are stress related. So yes, the clenching, grinding of the teeth that lead to what publicly we term as TMJ. TMJ, of course, is the temporomandibular joint. So you could call it TMJ syndrome, whatever you want to call it. But basically you have pain, you have headaches, toothaches, things like that. There was one lady that came in many years ago. She'd had CAT scans, all sorts of tests done. And I asked her these simple questions. We made her a night guard, and she was absolutely cured. So it can be debilitating. Most of the time, it's just some jaw pains, headaches, or tooth pains that are related to this. But again, the fix is rather simple. For most people, I hate to put percentages on things, but a simple night guard takes care of it for most everybody.
I love it how you say most of the time it's just a headache. Like a headache is a pleasant thing to have throughout the day.
Well, you're absolutely correct, because any kind of constant pain, it just wears on you. And after being at this for 23 years, I've noticed with night guard wearers, if their dog eats their night guard, or they lose their night guard, or they break their night guard, it becomes an emergency for them, because they've lived pain-free with this simple device. And now that they don't have that simple device, they don't even have the pain yet, but just the thought of maybe getting the pain back drives them in here saying, I need a night guard yesterday. So that tells me that it really works for people.
So, have you sometimes noticed that as people have this out of alignment of their mouth, which creates this jaw problem, which could come from many reasons. Maybe it was a car accident, a little fender bender a long time ago, like a rear end thing. Maybe it's teeth growing crooked from the beginning. Maybe it's teeth missing, which shifted things. Whatever it may be. But let's say I've been there for a while. Finally, a dentist like you finds it. Have you noticed that sometimes the rest of the muscles, especially around the neck, the lower upper back, and etc., have been by that time being so agitated that a massage therapist or a chiropractor would be needed to help aligning or smoothing out that area which has been affected by the jaws for so long?
Yeah. That old song, the head bone's connected to the neck bone. Things can be unusual. Fortunately, most things are straightforward, but things can be very unusual. It brings to mind early in my career a family member, an in-law, came to me with what he felt was a raging toothache, and he truly believed that I was going to pull a tooth out that day. After testing the teeth, all the teeth really seemed just fine. I don't know what made me think of it, but he's a real estate agent, and I asked him, how do you hold the phone? And he told me he held it like this while he's doing his paperwork. And I said, don't do that for 5 days. And he was cured. So how can somebody holding the phone like that cause a tremendous toothache. All those muscles in the head, it's very complex. The jaw muscles. If you hold the top of your head up here above your temple and clench your teeth together, you feel this muscle flexing way up there. So when people have different headaches, it can be associated with, and very oftentimes can be associated with the different musculatures in the face and the neck. And it's interesting. It's very interesting how one thing can affect something else. Yeah.
Well, it's obviously interesting. Yet we, for many, literally. Centuries, we have learned more and more that it is. And actually, the ancient people, hundreds of years ago, they knew it. It looks like we now start sometimes forgetting more. We have a headache, we think it's headache, and a bill is needed for a headache, etc. And why? I mean, if there is such a thing like God, I mean, look what He put into this little face: the eyes, the nose, the ears, the brain. It's also super important. So what makes us think that this area is not important? And it affects everything else from bottom to the feet, just like the feet.
Right.
A person who has crooked feet, whatever way, maybe has a bunion and walks crooked, maybe it's just longer or shorter or otherwise tilted, he will affect it up to the knee, to the hips, and yes, even to the head. So it is same. It goes here. There's a synergy in life. I've noticed that, with everything, and we just need to pay attention to that. Wonderful. So, a dentist, not only can you maybe fix a headache, or at least figure out that, eliminate the cause of it, that look, it's not in that area, keep looking, or fix it. You guys can make people look and be more healthy what's that word called, which I wanted to say?
Symmetrical.
Systemic, by the liver, the immune system, by eliminating gum disease, and you can even make them look better, not only by putting better teeth in it, but by avoiding a dried out tomato face, by putting implants in it and not making the face shrinking. It's quite amazing what a dentist can do. Doctor, it's pleasant talking to you. Thanks a lot, Dr. LeBlanc. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Helmut. Always a pleasure.